Welcome to episode 3 of the Chasing Eleutheria podcast. Today we're going to be joined with Jared Thompson. Jared is a Muay Thai fighter, he's a Muay Thai coach, and he's a Muay Thai referee. He shares in this episode a wide and very detailed knowledge of the sport and the mentality you need to be part of that sport and how you can use that mentality to help you in everyday life as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode and yeah, enjoy.
The Muay Thai has been a big part of my life for, I'd say, 9 years.
Okay.
Closing on 10 years now. Best sport in the world. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything else. Not even badminton. But
Badminton comes a close second, though, I'd say.
Yeah. I started off doing other martial arts. The first martial art I did when I was younger was judo. My dad started me on judo when I was young. And we did me and my twin brother John, we did competitions and things for judo, and that obviously took its own foray into a little bit of boxing, a little bit of mixed martial arts, that sort of thing. But yeah, 9 years ago I walked into shin kick, and yeah, this is me now. This is my sport. So no, I love it. I love Muay Thai.
Nice. Would you say there was a reason growing up that motivated you to get into martial arts specifically, instead of sports like, because you use the example, let's say badminton or anything like that, something a bit more risque in certain aspects?
Yeah, sure. So when I was younger, my dad, he took us to a lot of different sports, and he said largely you're going to be focusing on one, maximum 2 sports. So he took us to a lot of them, and he just wanted to see which ones we enjoyed the most. And being a twin, I've always been like, myself and my brother I've always had a very physical relationship, in the sense that like we'd fight all the time, and we've just had I don't know, I guess just leaned towards martial arts because it was more physical, and rugby. We played a lot of rugby when we were kids as well. Yeah. Did a bunch of other sports as well, but we landed on rugby and judo. Not entirely sure why. I couldn't speak to my psychology at the time, obviously, but maybe my old man would have a more detailed answer for you. But I couldn't really tell you, mate, to be honest. A lot of people get into it because they're getting either bullied, or they struggle with self-confidence, or maybe struggle with their weight as well. There's lots of good reasons for getting into martial arts specifically. I just can't speak to any of them. I just fell into it naturally, almost.
Nice. With I said it in the previous episode, but a big thing about this podcast is speaking to people that have decided to watch out as a picture behind you. I just realised I was
oh shit
oh no But people have decided to take something that they love doing and dedicating themselves to going, do you know what, this might not be the safest route or the generic route, but it's something I know I love doing, and so I want to dedicate myself to seeing where this journey goes. And for you, it was the Muay Thai and the coaching. Was there something was it natural? You just started into Muay Thai and coaching came naturally and it just was progressed from there? Was there something that made you realise that this is something I want to do for the rest of my life?
Oh, big question there, mate. Yeah, so I think when you're surrounded by passionate people and you have passionate coaches, it really does rub off on you in a way. I was working a sales job at the time of sort of training and fighting and that sort of thing, but I could see the passion behind my coach at the time, Jesse Saunders, from Shin Kick when it was in Woking, and I just feel like I wanted a piece of that for myself. It's a sport I've always loved, and it's call it an industry. It's an industry I've always loved and wanted to be a part of. But just seeing the passion from my coaches and the way they view the sport and the involvement they have in the sport largely was one of the contributing factors to me getting more involved in the sport. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, when I worked in sales, I didn't dislike what I did. I actually quite enjoyed working in sales, the fast-paced nature of it, the communicating with people all the time, the unique sort of dynamic nature of the job. I actually really enjoyed that, and working behind a desk is not ideal for anyone. I can't say anyone out there says that what they love about their job is the fact that they get to sit behind a desk all day. Sometimes that's just the vehicle for doing what you want to do, right? But it just doesn't feel the same as moving around and being in the gym environment and being surrounded by like-minded people and helping them achieve their goals is a totally different feeling in terms of job satisfaction. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
How big is environment? How important is environment to you when it comes to making decisions like that? Because,
as in the environment or my environment?
As in the environment you choose to put yourself in. So, for instance, I've learned that I do better in an environment that breeds that kind of mentality. So if I want to, for instance, do this podcast and work on a brand, I've created an environment just simply in this shed that I can shut myself off and physically step away. How big do you think having that environment is in helping you progress in them things that you choose to do, rather than just going, okay, I'm going to still balance everything on one plate and not take that step to actually introduce myself to the people that are going to be in the same position that I want to be in?
I think your environment is 99% of your success and your motivation and all of those things under the umbrella. But the beauty of it is that you choose your environment. And if your environment isn't serving you, you can change it. But then sometimes you get into the habits of staying in the same environment, never making progress and just getting comfortable there. But I would say that if people can take one thing away from this podcast, it's that you are in control of the environment you are in. And if your environment isn't serving you, then you need to try and find one that's for you. And it's very personal, and only you know the answer to what that is, but you are totally in control of your environment.
What would you say to people that are scared of taking that step out of the comfortable environment and going into an environment that has a lot more unknowns?
I would encourage them to try to diagnose why they're scared to step out of the environment in the first place. Sometimes the environment you're in is the right one for you to be in, but only by testing other things are you gonna know that truly as well. So just some self-diagnosis really, and just figuring out exactly what you want to achieve and what path you need to walk on to get there.
You talk about things in a very interesting perspective where it kind of...
Thank you.
That's all right, no worries. But there's a lot less emotion and a lot more logic behind the way you seem to think. When it comes to, on the topic of stepping out that environment and looking at them unknowns, there's a lot of fear that can be involved with that, and especially with stuff like sports like Muay Thai, where there is risk, and naturally there is certain fears that are involved with that. As a fighter, as a coach, as a person who's trained up and been next to the guys you're coaching and walk them through fights and everything, how would you say the best way is to deal with fear, essentially?
Zach, I've had conversations with guys who turn up at the gym, sit outside in their car, and have panic attacks because they feel like they can't walk into the gym because they've conflated martial arts with boxing and kickboxing movies, and you know how it is in the gym.
Yeah.
You know the environment.
Oh, it's weird because I've met nicer people in the fight gyms than I have in in regular gyms. Like, the amount of egos that are in fight gyms are non-existent compared to a regular gym that I've been in. So it's mental when you actually open your eyes to it.
Yeah, egos probably part of it, but I'd argue that, like, let's say for example, we've got a case study of a person who pulls up in their car with all their gear in the back, everything they need, ready to go on day one. They want to start training martial arts, but they don't want to go in because they feel like they're going to be ridiculed if they don't know what they're doing, or they feel like they're going to get hurt or injured, like the environment is conducive of violence. Something violent is going to happen to them if they turn up into that violent environment. Whereas you know that to be false. It's not true. Martial arts gyms are some of the most welcoming places in the entire world because we all started there. We know what that feels like, walking into the martial arts gym in the first place. My dad had a very a very clever trick with us when we were younger. I'll use getting on an aeroplane and flying as an example. He used to treat it like it was a theme park ride, and my mum is the total opposite. She would have to get plastered on the plane.
I've heard some of my mum's. Is it my? No, I've heard people that have had to do that as well
to deal with the fear.
Yeah,
and it comes back to that fear, doesn't it? But
I know what it's interesting because I personally have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I don't know if you know this or not, but irrational fears are a big part of the OCD.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm asking you this question is for the podcast, but also genuinely, like, I feel like the logic you put behind the decisions you make is something that You
want some logic? You want some logic?
Yeah.
Has another human being done it before?
In what sense?
Has another human being stepped into a martial arts gym before?
Yeah.
You'd say, obviously, right?
Yeah.
There's loads. What happened to them? Why aren't they in pieces? What happened to them when they stepped into the martial arts gym? If another human being has done it before, yeah, you can too. 100%. If someone else has done it, you can too. That's it. That's logic. If you want logic, someone else has done it, so it's possible for you.
Do you look at logic and as a way to kind of
take the emotion out of the situation?
Not take the emotion out, but when that fear comes up, is logic a strategy you use to kind of quiet that voice in your head?
Yeah. Okay. The voice exists in all of us. The fear exists in all of us. Being able to take the reins, yeah, 100%. You have to make situations logical, because if you allow yourself to give in to emotion in a situation that's frightening, either you go one of two ways. Either you go run away from the problem, which sometimes isn't possible, or you go head first into the problem, which also is a terrible idea. You don't go head first into any problem. You pick the lock. You don't kick down every door. Some doors can't be kicked down. Some locks can't be picked. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got to find the unique solution to each problem, and that can only be done by logic. If you're not thinking logically, if you're thinking emotionally, you'll come to the wrong conclusion to the problem every single time.
Where'd you learn that from? Just from experience.
A cocktail of my life's events.
Fair enough. So, going on from the growing up, how you got into the Muay Thai, you eventually stepped away from. You still fight. You fought recently in Thailand. We will sort of talk about that a bit later on. But you went into coaching, and that's become your full business essentially now. You are a personal trainer.
That's how I make my living, yeah.
How was that transition from perhaps working a job and thinking about coaching to doing it full time? What emotions did you go through thinking about that transition? What kind of logic did you put to that as a live example to go, okay, this makes sense? And what did you learn from it?
So, are you talking about the transition between working a full-time sales job and coaching?
Yeah, so from a safe, stable income to something that you know you're going to enjoy more, but perhaps has a few more unknowns when it comes to financially and how it will look in the future.
Jump in with both feet. You have to jump in with both feet, yeah. A friend of mine, Kyle Greaves, said a while ago, he gave me a piece of advice that was very helpful. We were sat in his car, we were driving somewhere, I can't exactly remember where it was, but I remember the conversation. He said, you can't give yourself a safety net. If you give yourself a safety net, you'll fall on it every time. You have to make sure that you have to succeed. There's nothing else possible in a situation. You can't give yourself an opportunity to fail, because then you will. Human beings are weak. We're weak. But we have to give ourselves an opportunity to succeed and no opportunity to fail. And that stuck with me as well. And I quit my job because I knew it's not what I wanted to do anymore. And I just pursued coaching full time, and it was slow to start off with, but you know, if you put out consistent work that's credible and you care about standards, the rest will just come. And it did.
Nice.
And I'm thankful for it.
Nice.
And I'm thankful for the advice as well, because otherwise I might not have made the step that I took without that piece of advice, that cherry of advice. So
nice. Mentally in that, from fighting to coaching, that kind of, there's a lot of, I feel like, mental growth you do when you do take up a sport like Muay Thai and you choose to fight in it. And for me personally, I learned a lot more about how to manage my emotions and how to deal with stress that I've brought upon myself, and the understanding, going back to heading, like, logically thinking over things, the understanding that, okay, I've chosen to put myself in this position, so it's stress that I've expected and wanted, so it's something that I shouldn't be running away from, it's something I should embrace.
yeah.
What lessons could you say you've learned from fighting that you've been able to implement in your kind of daily life, or even that you've been able to take away and advise other people about the day-to-day life that you've learned through that extreme of fighting?
Again, you don't have a safety net. That's largely what you learn from fighting as well, is you can't turn around and ask your opponent for a minute to have a breather. If you're hurt or injured, you can't go, oh, sorry, mate, don't kick me there. It's not possible. In fact, they're going to go there again and again and again. You've got to become strong to deal with life's problems, because life's problems don't care about you, and they're random, and they can come at any time of varying levels of difficulty, and you need to arm yourself. You need to make sure that you're ready. Like, if you've got a fight coming up in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you need to every day be preparing for that encounter. Yeah, but what about the encounters that pass so many of us by and are life altering, that we don't prepare ourselves for on a day-to-day basis? So it really makes you think about preparation as a whole, because that's all you're doing when you're in a fight camp. You're preparing to fight, and it makes you more organized, it makes you more disciplined, it improves your self-confidence as well. Every time you have a hard session, you turn around and you can have that word with yourself where you're like, do you know what? I'm going to be better tomorrow. I'm going to eat, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be that 1% better. And that kind of preparation is a large lesson that you learn from fighting. Yeah,
I've noticed that as well with it's one of them things that I've done that I've realised helps keep me accountable and prepared for the occasion that's coming up. But also, when I've taken a step back and realised what I'm doing in my everyday life, when it comes to business or relationships or family or anything like that, there's things you can do every day that can help prepare you for the circumstance that you don't think about if you're just going through the motions.
Absolutely, yeah, that's 100% what I'm referring to. And I've never been healthier like holistically than when I'm training to have someone else punch me in the face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been a healthier person than I am when I'm preparing to fight someone in the ring, because you want to be 100%, but you should be like that all the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
How do you deal with balance then? Because you've gone...
I don't.
Yeah, that's what I struggle with, because, like, obviously, especially with you go from going to Thailand and fighting to then back in the UK coaching, and you can't really just go off and fight again because your income is coaching. So is there a way you can deal with the balance of, because I often compare myself to the physique I was in fight camp, or the quietness of my life and the simplicity it was, and the fact that I wasn't drinking, and I go, oh, I should be like that now, but then I forget that I cut off everything because I was preparing for that fight. Do you not, like, because I'm the same with balance, I struggle to figure out the...
Would you say you value simplicity in your life? Just a yes or no.
Yes, I would, yeah.
So why do you choose variety?
Interviewing me now.
Yeah, I mean... Let's get philosophical, mate.
I say I value... Oh, we'll go there. I value simplicity, but I don't deal well with stillness and quiet. So even though I value what comes from that quiet, I don't know how to maintain that, because if I stay in that state of quietness, of calmness, of not a lot going on, I'm relaxed, I'll be honest, I get bored.
I think it's not the modern world we live in, brother. We live in a very dynamic world, and especially the modern world. It's very dynamic, and there's constantly stimulus being pumped into us via either like reels or movies, TV, video games. If you gamble, I don't know if you gamble, but
I dabble in a bit of Texas Hold'em.
Here and there, yeah, exactly. But like, there's always something that's going to fry our dopamine receptors as people. So it's very difficult to go from all of that to total calm and stillness. Yeah. But to be honest, if you lived in a remote village somewhere where you didn't have access to such easy, cheap hits to your dopamine, you would be more comfortable with a more simple life. But I think we're cursed in a way in this modern age that we know what it's like to constantly be able to receive free stimulation, that we crave it now. And I'm not sure if there's a detoxification method that you can maybe go live in the hills with a monk.
See, that's the thing. It's like you have to take the extreme, but then you almost, because of the way the world is, sacrifice everything to achieve that. Because say if you go and live in the hills or in the rainforest with tribes in the Amazon, or
I'm sure there's lots of stimulation in the rainforest, running from big cats and not getting eaten by fucking alligators.
Yeah, probably a monk's a better example. But I feel like if you chose to do that, you also have to... You realise that you won't see the people you see every day, or speak to the people you speak to every day, or have the modern pleasures that you do, TV, phone... So you almost
we're all trapped here together. We are really all stuck here together.
What do we do? How do we get out?
Well, one thing is, like, I don't take it personally when I'm having a conversation with someone and their attention wanders somewhat, or they interrupt something that you're saying, or I think it would have been considered very rude 10, 20 years ago to interrupt someone in conversation, or not pay total attention to them when you're talking to them. But I don't take those things personally, because I understand the burden of dopamine on the system, and everyone's got ADHD nowadays, you know, like their attention floats off because they're just used to constant stimulation, and it's free. All you need to do is pick up your phone. So I think adjusting with the way the world works is going to lead to more stable relationships between people.
It's almost like coming to terms with it and going, okay, I can't remember the saying off the top of my head, but
ADHD.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just like you're in the game. Don't hate the game because you're in it. Like, you
don't
can't
hate the player, hate the game.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, I feel like there's so much. Maybe that's what attracts me to the fighting side of Muay Thai, because it does kind of, the first step of that, okay, you're forced to just step away from everything because you can't, like, it makes it very real, because it's like, okay, you can go and watch TV and eat rubbish and stuff, but know that in 6 weeks' time you're going to get the shit beaten out of you. Or you can decide not to do that and know that you could fuck someone up in 6 weeks. So it's like...
not possible. It's not possible to go sit down and have a tub of ice cream if you know you've got a fight
exactly.
coming up. Would you say it was detoxification of the modern life, being in a fight camp?
I would say yes, because I went to Thailand
Absolutely,
for a month before my fight, and I did that because of the fight. And when I was there, I learned a lot about myself and about what it is I actually value, rather than... And I feel like, yes, it was, in short answer, more of a detox than it was a fight camp.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. I think that's where I went wrong, because I focused too much on, okay, I want to do this to better myself. And I learned a lot about myself, but kind of forgot I was fighting. Like, I got back and I had like 2 weeks and then I was fighting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I was like, I was training the whole time, but I kind of wasn't in the state where I was like, I need to, like, fucking, like, go in there and...
The hunger
bulldoze.
wasn't there.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something that would switch when I choose to fight again, because I'm a lot more like... I've experienced that and I've known what it's like to switch everything off, and now I'm like, I can do that, but I want to fucking go in and win. So, yeah, I would say my second fight camp was more of a...
I would say it's the wrong sport. To anyone listening, I'd say it's the wrong sport to go into not wanting or caring about winning. Because if you lose, the results could be detrimental for you. It's not badminton, as we discussed before. If you lose, there could be serious long-term health effects for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't really fancy winning, I probably wouldn't fight, because winning means safety for you.
Yeah.
You'd rather get someone out of there in round 1 than have a war with them until round 5 and win on points. Any day of the week. There was a thought in my head in my fight, which led to me being a little bit sloppy, admittedly. I think going back, rewinding time.
This is your fight in Thailand?
In my fight in Thailand. Okay. I knocked him down once. I knocked him down again. Both clean knockdowns. I was pretty happy with those. And then before the third knockdown, I got in my head that I don't want to send you back to your corner because you're going to have a second to breathe, start seeing straight again, and then your corner's going to tell you how to beat me. So I got sloppy. I lost my composure and I chased him across the ring pretty much, where I shouldn't. And I remember Hayden, one of the lads that I train, came out to Thailand with me, so we went out together to train, and I was going to fight. He was never going to fight. He's had fights in the UK, but we knew that he wasn't going to have a fight in Thailand. But I heard him shouting from the corner, set it up, don't chase him, set it up. So I broke out of the exchange and I faked another shot, and then I went somewhere else and I got the third knockdown and I got the win in round 1. But if I had kept chasing him, all I would have done is just given him an opportunity to do to me what I'd just done to him, and reset the playing field a little bit. So again, make logical decisions, not emotional decisions. I was like, nah, there's no way he's getting back to his corner, because again, they're going to tell him how to beat me. But we got the job done in the end. But that's something that I would have gone back and changed if I could, but you don't get do-overs.
I mean, you still fucking did very well. So
thank you, appreciate that. Thanks.
It is interesting though how when it comes to extremes, choices get a lot simpler. Like when it comes to, obviously naturally we're going to use Muay Thai as the main example, but fighting in Muay Thai and competing, but it is... Do you know what? I've only just realised this genuinely in this conversation, that I think up until now, a lot of what I've looked for in Muay Thai has been a detox. And it hasn't been, I want to win. And it's been more, I want to be comfortable.
Feel healthy.
Yeah.
Chase the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to fight to do that. You can train Muay Thai. You don't have to fight to do that. Fighting is about not chasing the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
It's about proving the best version of yourself is better than someone else. And if you don't have that, if you do have that, fight, do it. Prove it to yourself, prove it to everyone else. Do what you need to do. Scratch that itch. But training Muay Thai is, you don't have to fight to train Muay Thai and get all the holistic health benefits, and even push yourself and make sure that you are realizing your full potential. Fighting is just about proving it to yourself and others that you've reached your potential.
Yeah,
I would say.
Wicked. Yeah, I think that's. I'm not fighting for a while now, but I always do feel like there's something like more that I want. Like there's something, and I feel like that's part of it. So I do want to fight again, but when it's
fight.
Yeah. That's literally the voice.
I won't stop harassing you about it either. Yeah.
Especially if my dad's fighting next year. I mean,
ooh, you let that one slip.
No, he's not. He's starting training next year.
Yeah.
Remember, he spoke to you. He's gonna come down to the gym. And he's gonna start hitting pads and all of that. Anyway, how swiftly moving on. How old were you when you had your first fight?
First competition or first Muay Thai fight, or
let's go first competition. And
first competition, I was 7 years old. Wow, okay. It was a judo competition, and me and my twin brother, we did lots. First full contact fight, I would probably say I was 17. Yeah.
And was that Muay Thai?
No, amateur MMA.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I'd say that was my first full contact fight in a ring or cage. And then before that, growing up in South Africa was quite hard because everyone resolved disputes by punching each other. It's like a part of the culture in a sense, like part of rugby culture as well. It's a culture thing just to scrap it out almost, and part of the rugby culture and part of the South African just culture in general. So also I fought a lot with my twin brother, so I've always been scrappy. Like I had lots of fights before I stepped foot in the ring, but it's totally different fighting someone who's ready for you and trains all the time and doesn't just have a point to prove. They're doing it because it's a sport, and they're training in a kickboxing, Muay Thai gym, boxing gym, whatever sport you want to, MMA, whatever sport you're doing, they're ready for you, and they've been getting ready for you as well. It's a totally different environment. If it's over pride, if you're fighting over pride, usually when the going gets tough, people fold. Depends how much pride you've got, really. But when you're fighting for the pride of your gym, it's not about you anymore. You're representing your coaches, you're representing yourself, you're representing your friends and family in a way, and you will fight that much harder in those scenarios when everyone's watching than you will if you're just scrapping with someone, unless it's personal. If you're having a physical altercation with someone and it's personal, obviously you're, depending on the reason, you're not giving up for anything. But when you're fighting in the ring, I'd say generally it's a lot tougher than fighting outside of the ring.
Nice.
I hate the word street fighting. I think it's pathetic. Like, I don't want to hear anyone say
I've
street
never
fighting.
actually been in a street fight.
Oh, really? Good. Good.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Good. I've been in lots, and I've had my head kicked in lots. You know? I've been lucky.
I'm a good guy, you know. I just hug it out.
So
not in a
am
gay
I.
way, no. Unless
I'm a
you're
good
into
guy.
that.
but I've been lucky in a sense because I've walked away from situations where I shouldn't necessarily have walked away from, and I've.
Is that in South Africa or was that in?
Both, I'd say.
Okay.
But walking away from those situations, partly with age and partly with receiving beatings, it's conditioned me to sort of be a bit more mellow, and pride doesn't come into the equation as much because I know how poisonous pride can be.
That goes back to logic as well and not acting on emotions.
Yeah.
Wicked. How many we'll go into it because I am eager to find out more about the Thailand trip and the fight and how it was. Was it the first time you fought in Thailand?
Yeah, it would be my first fight in Thailand.
Wicked.
Yeah.
How was it? What was it?
Fantastic. The training was amazing. I trained at PK Sanchai in Bangkok. We stayed at a hotel, the Good Luck Sports Hotel, a 2-minute walk away from the gym.
Nice.
So we were right there. We spent the large majority of the time, this is me and Hayden, we spent the large majority of our time either training at the gym or napping in the hotel room. So we'd wake up in the morning, we'd have our electrolyte drinks, we'd go there, we'd train for a couple of hours, then come back to the hotel, eat, nap, then train in the afternoon for the afternoon session, and then come back to the hotel, eat, sleep, back in the morning.
Wicked.
So before the fight, it was more like a military operation than a luxurious Asia holiday.
I
But
could imagine.
that's what we went there for. So
what's the main, would you say, differences from training in Thailand to the Western way of training, and which one do you prefer?
I'd say the heat is largely a difference. It really depends where you're training in the UK and where you're training in Thailand, because there are gyms in Thailand where they reward you, like verbally reward you, and like body language, they reward you for small things. Like if you throw a kick and it's good, they'll be like, yeah, like ooh wee, great kick, yeah. And then at PK Sanchai, before you've hit pads a couple of times and before they've seen you a couple of, they don't even acknowledge you. If you greet them, they'll greet you back, but they won't make eye contact with you, they won't look at you, they won't acknowledge you until they've seen that you mean business and you're there to work and that you reflect the ethos of the gym itself. All of the rounds are 4 minutes long, not 3 minutes long. It's baking hot. When you work with a pad holder, they're all pushing you. It's like they sat down one day in a meeting and they're like, do you know what, guys? We're not letting him get away with a single fucking thing. Doesn't matter how tired you look. If you're tired and you like sit down to recover, they'll punch you in the body, and then they'll get you to work on the pads again. And then if you get tired again, they'll hit you again. They're very, very much just pushing you the entire time. And if you show any kind of weakness, or you back up, or you don't give the pad holder what they want, they'll lose interest in you like this. Like
oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
So you have to earn that respect.
You have to earn the respect there, yeah. You don't go in and just because you've sat on a plane for 13 hours, and you've paid to train there, it doesn't mean you've earned their respect at all. And I'd say after my fight, after winning in that fashion, and all the hard training I'd done there, I wasn't there for a very long time, I'd say I only scratched the surface of respect. After the fight, the trainers that I worked with that took me down, they're like, well done, great fight, awesome, mate. The other trainers there, it is just business as usual. Some of them fight every single weekend. Some of them are fighting on one championship as well. It's like, oh, you won your fight? Great, back to work. Yeah, there's no party, there's no parade for you outside the gym. It's just straight back to work, which I craved. I crave. In the UK, it's all about pomp and pageantry. Big walkout, smoke machine, lots of media attention before fights. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's asking you, oh, when's your next fight? Oh, can I come? Can I buy tickets? Big piss up as well at the shows. A great night out and like a big event. It's not like that in Thailand. I warmed up next to my opponent. They picked the walkout songs for us.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's
about the fight. Yeah.
It's not about you, it's about the crowd. It's about the tourism in Thailand, and it's about the people who have paid to watch you fight. It's not about you. You're not a big star unless you're on like One Championship or RWS or some of the bigger promotions. Like if you're just generally fighting in Thailand, it's you warm up right in front of your opponent. You better be comfortable with that as well, looking in the eyes of the person that you're about to fight and being around them, which I personally was. I don't think my opponent was. I don't think he was very happy being in the same room with me when we were warming up.
Was he?
Because they had to move him out of the room halfway through a warm up. Yeah, they had to take him around the corner. So I don't think he was totally happy with being there, or his trainers detected that he didn't really want to be there. I was fine with it because, again, if you think about it logically, brother, we're going to be hitting each other soon.
Yeah. You're going to be face to face.
So what? I can't have a conversation with you. So what? I can't look at you getting a Thai massage or warming up. It's bullshit. Yeah.
So was he also someone who's flown in and trained and fought as well?
I think he lived there because he said he had fights in Thailand before, but I know he was from Germany.
Okay.
But I think he was there for a longer period of time. I don't know. He didn't really want to talk to me much.
No, I could imagine. Yeah.
But what I got from him is that he'd had fights in Thailand and he'd had fights in Germany, and he was there to fight me. So
Nice. I want to, because I know about, obviously they have the music and the ceremonial dance before. What does it actually mean, the dance before the fight?
the Y crew.
Yeah.
So the Y crew is to show respect to your trainers and the sport, the art, and everyone there, the officials, and everyone that helped the event come together. Essentially, it's traditional to show respect in that way.
Okay, wicked. And the music, is there? I do assume there's something specific about the music that they use during the fights, but do you know why? I'm kind of just quizzing you on these kind of things now because I'm interested, but do you know why they use
the traditional Thai instruments,
Okay.
but a lot of the culture of Muay Thai comes from Buddhism, so a lot of the cultural norms and practices are inherently Buddhist practices, so that's where it comes from specifically.
Wicked, nice. So, as a coach after the fight, you came back from Thailand, you carried on coaching. Was there anything in particular you would say you took from that experience, from the training, from the coaches' mentality, or the way they've trained you, or the things they've spoken to you about, that you've started to now implement in your training?
Yeah, so two things. One of them is an umbrella of different things, and one of them is something very specific.
Okay.
So generally, I took back some techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So the trainers that I was working with, a lot of the time it was Ten and Fang. Ten, I took a lot of decent elbow setups from him because we were working one day or a couple of days, we were working some elbow setups and some very efficient ways to move your opponent's arms out of the way to land clean elbows. And Fang is expert in the clinch. I took away a couple of different locking positions from him, so ways to force your opponent into a weak position and yourself into a dominant position so that you can clinch effectively, continue to land knees and elbows on your opponent when they're going to struggle to do the same thing to you. So it's essentially like stand-up grappling, but you're not going to the ground or trying to submit your opponent. You're trying to put them in a position where it's inefficient for them to strike you and it's efficient for you to strike them. Yeah. So I took techniques away. And then I'd say a very specific thing I took away was not from one of the it's not from one of the trainers, and it wasn't from one of the fighters. It was actually from one of the guys that trained there. He was an older Thai guy. I didn't even get his name. I'd say he was in his late 30s, early 40s. But every time I'd go in the gym, he would go like this to me. Like this. As a joke. But he was a monster. He was an animal on the pads. Like, I wish I could have got his name or anything, but his work ethic on the pads was massive. And the fighters were working hard, the one championship fighters, but for someone who wasn't a trainer, he wasn't a fighter, he was just trained at the gym, but he went there and he gave it like the one championship fighters gave it to the pads. And just his general attitude. He would throw like 20 or 30 speed kicks, rep kicks, and you know how difficult they are. At the end of his pad work round, he'd throw in 30 kicks as hard as he can, and remember, that's your largest limb coming from furthest away from the target, so it costs so much energy to get it from the floor up into the pads, and doing it as hard as you can over and over again. Unless you've done it, you don't realise how difficult speed kicks are. He would finish 30, 40, 50 speed kicks, and then he would immediately move away from his pad holder and just start clinching with another trainer. But it was almost like he was accosting them, like they didn't ask him to clinch them. He was just like, we're clinching now. Yeah. And then he'd turn around and make this sign to me, and I'm like, okay, you're not here to fuck around. You're not here to fuck around.
Fight.
Maybe he fought before and he doesn't anymore. I don't know his deal. All I know that he's a beast. And I took one look at him and I was like, okay, cool. You're doing that, twice a day in this heat, and you're training for hours at a time.
And you're not fighting.
Cool, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were talking about at the start, where if another human being can do it, you fucking can.
Yeah, and it's possible.
And that's what resonated with me a little bit. And it wasn't even anything that he said. It was my own analysis of the way he moved and the way he acted, and all the other trainers were like, shit, like, don't go near him because he's just going to start clinching me. He's going to swing for me. Yeah, I don't know. That resonated with me.
I love that because I'm a big believer in practicing what you preach. And like, there's a lot, especially in the modern day and age, of people who want to give their opinions and want to give you advice, but have never walked the walk. They just talk the talk. They've never actually gone in there and experienced it, but they want to give you their 2 cents. And I think that someone like that is quite almost inspiring, because they haven't said anything. It's just it's only through their actions that you've learned.
Yes, but on the other side of the coin, there's a lot to be gained from people that haven't walked the walk, because sometimes their opinions are pure, because they've not dealt with the biases. Everything that you deal with in life goes through a filter, and your conscious experience is just everything that goes through your filter. Someone else's conscious experience is going through another filter, brother. And for some people who haven't experienced the sport, and they can go from the outside and go, this is like this is meant to be like this, there's a lot to be gained from that. They may not be 100% correct, but they also might be saying something that you don't want to accept. And it's easy to turn around to that person and go, well, you've never fought before, or you've never done this before, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not a world champion fighter. Yeah. I'm a coach. But there would be a world champion fighter out there that would turn around to me and go, oh, you shouldn't be coaching because you've not done what I've done. Or I deserve to be a coach and you don't because you've not accomplished what I have in fighting. And I would argue that is total bullshit. When you're a fighter and when you're a coach, it's a different set of skills. Judge a fighter on his ability to swing a sword, and judge a coach as a blacksmith on his ability to make a sword. Yeah, 2 totally separate sets of skills. It helps to have swung one around in your hand a little bit, to know how they should feel, the weight of them, you know, what their designed purpose is, but it's not 100% essential. Yeah, you can be the most intelligent person and have instruction on how to make a sword from the best people in the world. Yeah, and not have swung one in your life, and you could make fantastic swords.
Yeah.
However, I think it helps to have been in there to understand how a fighter feels and how a fighter deals with these problems, because everyone deals with things in a different way. Again, they're digesting their conscious experience through their own filter. So it helps to listen to other people and listen to the resonance that comes from them to make those kinds of decisions. But I would say, by the other flip of the coin, not being there and having done it, sometimes those people have very pure opinions, and it's worth just considering what they're saying.
No, it's interesting. I've never actually thought of it in that aspect. It is, yeah, you're right, actually. It's, yeah, considering it and taking it into account and going, okay, and then making an opinion after understanding what they're saying.
Formulate your opinion based on what comes through your filter, but I would open up sections in your filter for people who dedicate their lives to the sport, whether they're fighters or not. There are some coaches out there that train world champions that have never stepped foot in the ring, and they gain their respect through deep understanding of the anatomy, physiology of a fighter, technique, force application, positioning, footwork, timing. They understand all of these things intrinsically because they love the sport. Maybe they've had an injury. Maybe they're just when they step foot in the ring, their nerves make them fall to pieces. I fight because I love it, yeah. But other people don't love it, but they do love the sport. You know, they've been surrounded by it their entire lives, and I think there's merit to absorbing information from every source. Just push it through your filter, see what comes out the other side.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Making me think now. I'm gonna have to go.
Oh no!
I'm gonna have to.
Your brain's gonna melt out of your ears. Yeah, you'll be all right, mate.
But talking about the different aspects, actually, and with coaching and with fighters, and you do ref also fights, and I'm interested to hear kind of a lowdown of number one promotions you've refed on, and the experience of reffing. I know we spoke about it briefly at the gym a while back, but what it's like reffing fights and the reason why that's something you've taken an interest in as opposed or as well as coaching.
Which question do you want me to answer? I
suppose I threw a few at you there, yeah. Let's start from the beginning, go with how you got into reffing.
So my coach from Shin Kick Muay Thai, Jesse Saunders, is an international referee. If you go on YouTube and you type in Muay Thai fight, I would put money down that, like decent money as well. I'd have a gamble that he's probably in the video. We can stick some money on it now if you want. You know, I know you said you mentioned you're not much of a gambler, but it's like it's a bet that I'm happy to accept. Yeah. So he's largely involved in refereeing in the UK and internationally as well, and judging in the UK and internationally as well. And again, just seeing the passion that he has for the sport and making sure the sport is fair, making sure the sport is well regulated as well, because it's not the most regulated sport in the world. You rely on people who respect the traditions, respect the arts, and respect the sport and the entertainment side of the sport as well, to step forward and take that role as the referee. And I'm proud to say that I've refereed on some of the biggest shows in the UK, Muay Thai Grand Prix, Muay Thai Mayhem, Muay Thai Royalty as well. And those kinds of shows are in different places in the UK as well, so all over the UK. They're pioneering Muay Thai from a grassroots level, from people who want to get involved in their first amateur fight to professional fighters who make their living out of it, and it pays their bills. I'm proud to say being a part of those things and upholding the rules of Muay Thai and the traditions of Muay Thai is largely that comes from my my coach Jesse Saunders.
Wicked. And how do it's when you're in there reffing, what's the mentality switch from compared to, say, coaching or even fighting, where you kind of can't get too carried away with the spectacle of the fighting and you've got to kind of focus on it? Is that hard to maintain throughout the whole fight?
Not for me.
No.
Only because, again, logical decision making. That's it. Don't get emotionally invested in it at all. It's a trap. Don't get emotionally invested in fighting. Don't get emotionally invested in coaching. Don't get emotionally invested in refereeing. Make clinical decisions, because those are, again, I wouldn't say that I'm so set in my refereeing and coaching and fighting that I can't, again, receive information from other sources and that alter my view of the sport and things like that. Like I'm constantly trying to update my portfolio of my understanding of the sport. But when you are in the ring and when you are refereeing, you're the law. You have to make a decision and you have to be able to justify it and you have to be able to stand by it. If I made a decision out of emotion and then went back afterwards and I thought, was that the right decision and how can I justify that? I felt like one of the fighters was injured or wasn't dealing with the pressure very well, isn't a justification to make a decision while refereeing. Okay, I felt like one of the fighters couldn't defend themselves adequately, and they needed an opportunity to regain their focus, that is a decision that I made clinically. So I wouldn't forgive myself if I made a decision out of emotion that caused the fighter to become injured or harmed the integrity of the sport. So I have to make clinical decisions the entire time.
Has that helped you with coaching as well, being able to be in there reffing them fights?
Yeah, it's all experience, and refereeing, fighting, and coaching. They all go hand in hand. They are different. They are different sets of skills as well, but they do go hand in hand in the sense that if you expose yourself to the sport often enough, you do become more comfortable with the vernacular.
Interesting. Nice one. Well, I think we've done just about an hour here. I went quite quick.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, Jared, this has
been a pleasure, mate.
Mate, this has been a really eye-opening and interesting conversation. Love to have you back on in the future. I appreciate you stepping in when I was sweating at the beginning there, because I didn't have a clue what I was saying. I lost my train of thought completely.
No problem, mate.
The sweat was going down, so I appreciate you catching me there.
We'll do this again when I've got more to say.
Yeah,
but
and
when
I've had a bit more practice at it as well. Because I was a bit nervous at the start, and I feel like we got into it. But no,
I think
really
there's power in
appreciate it.
admitting that you're nervous and identifying that, because again, it means that you can solve the problem. If you find yourself in a place of nervousness, you have the power to walk through that fear and walk into another place where you feel more comfortable.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Great.
Cheers. Cheers, man.
Nice one.